Welcome into another episode of Chic and Ball. I'm your host, Els the Truth, and today we'll be talking about the New York Liberty, led by Coach Sandy Brondello and two-time MVP Breanna Stewart. Make sure you lock in for our spotlight players today, Johannes and Betnijah Laney, in a new series we're introducing called The Battle of the Best. Over the next few podcasts, we'll show you some epic battles between the league's best players, and I'm talking the best backcourt and frontcourt players. Very quickly on the New York Liberty, they finished this past season with a record of 32-8, second best record in the league to the Las Vegas Aces, Commissioner Cup champions. Of their 8 regular season losses, only 4 of them were by 10 or more points. Although they made the WNBA Finals, this New York Liberty franchise is 0-5 in the finals in their history, so they're approaching Knicks and Jets territory. But today I want to open things up with one of the flashiest passers, one of the most difficult shot makers that's ever worn the number 23. Helped lead France to a bronze medal in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Small part of the reason the New York Liberty made it to the 2023 WNBA Finals. The 5'9" phenom from Lisieux, France, Johannes. You know the initials, MJ. Deep in her bag, no look pass, cash money from Sab. And her head is always on the swivel. Perfect skill set to run the pick and roll, pick and pop. Came over to the W in 2019, did not get drafted, but still an immediate impact. In her rookie season, she averaged 7 points in 18 minutes. Same thing this past season, 7 points in 18 minutes. You could tell from her international play that she was born to play in New York. Big city, big lights, big shot. Sometimes I think she just be out there just trying stuff out. And when it works out, Coach Brondello can only be smiling. Nobody know why she kick her leg up when she shoot, but goddamn it look good. Mid-range game is sweet like grandma cookies. With a full head of steam, she cooked like an air fryer. Fake right, cross left, nothing but the bottom. And I don't think y'all got the full Johannes experience, so we got a second helping. She plays with such a flair, it's hard to figure her out. She's one of those decisive players that knows where she's going with the ball before the defense can react. And I'm sorry to say, but I feel like New York's holding her back a little bit. She could be starting on maybe 4 or 5 teams playing hot minutes. But they have a great program over there. Players have been willing to accept lesser pay, lesser roles just to be on that team. Eventually they're going to have to finish the deal or they probably will start losing players. But I just look at the talent on this roster outside of the stars. Niara Sabally, Kayla Thornton, Sloot, 7-time assist champ. The reason I think they lost in the finals, I feel like the stars on this team just got low motors. If you watch the finals, Asia Wilson just played with so much energy, Stewie was not able to match that energy play for play. Same for Sabrina Ionescu. She shot poorly in that series and KP went bonkers. Absolutely out of her mind. But I don't want to go too far off the rails. Back to Johannes. She barely played in the postseason. And she went 1 of 10 from 3 going into the finals. Had that breakout game where she hit 4 threes, but then she didn't really get another chance. And they already decided Sabrina Ionescu would be their point guard of the future. Congrats to her for representing the W at NBA All-Star Weekend, masterful shooting. But they already decided she their point guard, so New York, please don't hold her hostage. The Mystics were willing to push Elena Delle Donne basically into retirement because they didn't want to allow her to leave in free agency or trade her. I hope they don't push Johannes back to France because I failed to mention, after her rookie season in 2019, she didn't play in the WNBA again until 2022. So she was gone for 2 years. And I think they got 1 more year to try to win a championship before players start wanting out. Can't keep bringing the same team back year after year if they're not closing the deal. But let me know what y'all think about that. Is Johannes a starter on another team? Do you agree the stars in New York have low motors? And lastly, what are New York's chances of winning next season? Feel free to answer one or all those questions. If you would like to be a part of the podcast or any game day highlight, feel free to send us an email to realprm216@gmail.com. I got an email from someone who didn't leave a name, but they told me to watch out for Lauren Hansen. And I checked her out, and I'm sorry, my guy, not seeing the pro talent. But now let's talk about the beautiful, one-time All-Star, 2020 Most Improved Player, 2-time All-Defense in 2020 and 2023. McDonald All-American, Rutgers Scarlet Knight, Queen Bee, Betnijah Laney. Fan favorite, underrated, underappreciated by our own team. Two-way, three-level scorer. Laney through the lane like a highway with no traffic. First off, the post game. Watch the disrespect not to send a double team. Olivia Nelson-Adota, don't leave her on that island like that. Then one of the most scrappy players in the league, Sophie Cunningham, stranded on Laney Island. Takes the bump and the foul. Now get this, Betnijah Laney only shot 70% from the line at Rutgers. Since she's came into the league, 78%. Jordan Canada, quick hands, but not quick enough. If Betnijah Laney get on the block, it should be an automatic dump down. I don't even care. We gonna live with the results. Look at the footwork to get the position in the post. Missed the first layup, but sticking with it like glue. And let me tell you, the baseline is the worst place to find yourself on that island, because it's like how you want it, the drop step or the post fade. Then just fearlessly going at the scrap queen, Sophie Cunningham again. Now, when we say 3 levels, that means you have a mid-range game. And they say the mid-range game is win away, but not if you're watching Betnijah. She got that part of her game mastered just like the post game. Best thing about Betnijah's jump shot is that it looked the same every time. Whether it's open or it's contested, it's pretty. You see the follow through. Elbow straight. She rarely has a bad miss. It's usually too short or too strong because her follow through don't change. But now let's show you the third level. The deadliest part of her game, the bombs. Betnijah didn't even come into the league as a shooter. Her first 3 seasons, she only hit 1 3. She hit more threes last year than she hit in her first 5 seasons combined. She had 9 games last year where she hit 3 3-pointers or more, and in those 9 games, she had a 56% shooting percentage from distance. Fearless, all she looking at is the basket. I don't even think she know it's contested. In 2020, she hit 61% on corner threes, 40% from 3 overall in 2023. But now let's show you the two-way. A lot of defensive plays that Betnijah Laney makes don't show up in the stat sheet. She don't average a steal or a block, but still made an all-defensive team. That's because the real voters and real basketball watchers know she's assigned the toughest guard every night. And let's be real about it. New York tried to hide Sabrina Ionescu and Stewie because they not as strong or quick to stay in front of perimeter players. Because it's a lot of unicorns running around now. They got JJ, she guard the toughest player in the post, and Betnijah Laney always take the toughest guard on the perimeter. And what's even crazier about that, don't forget Betnijah Laney tore her ACL in 2016, but the way she moves around, you don't even notice. One last quick note on Betnijah, she is the daughter of Yolanda Laney, who's on the 2023 ballot to go into the Naismith Hall of Fame. Yolanda Laney played her basketball at Cheney University, which is the oldest HBCU, founded in 1837, originally known as the Institute for Colored Youth. She scored 2,173 points at her time as a basketball player there. Laney was a member of the 1982 team, where she was named East Regional All-Tournament, and led the Lady Wolves to the 1984 Final Four while being named the Kodak All-American and Most Outstanding Player in the Eastern Region. So if you wonder why Betnijah Laney worked so hard and why she was able to make it as a late second-round pick, look up the moms. Shout out to Mama Laney. Two former UConn teammates match up in the WNBA. Nafisa Callier versus Breanna Stewart. Stewie driving to the cup and finishing right through Nafisa Callier. But not to be outdone, Nafisa Callier coming right back with a mid-range jumper. Now coming into this game, the New York Liberty were clearly a better team. They had a record of 20-6, while the Minnesota Lynx had a record of 13-14. What I noticed most in this first game is Nafisa Callier took on the challenge and guarded Breanna Stewart damn near the entire game. Breanna Stewart did try to guard Nafisa Callier, but she was kind of having her way. And she got the right number, 24, because she got post moves like the Mamba. But at one point, Phee just started going to work and Stewie couldn't do nothing but foul her. In the first quarter of this game, Nafisa Callier played 8 minutes, went 3 of 6 from the field, and hit 2 free throws. Despite Breanna Stewart going 3 of 8 in the first quarter, the Liberty were still able to close the quarter with the lead 25-21. Queen Bee, Betnijah Laney, went crazy in this game. She had 7 points in the first quarter. She went 2 of 3 and hit a 3-pointer. Lindsay Allen for the Minnesota Lynx had 5 assists in the first quarter. But back to the action, we got Stewie finishing right through Phee with the left hand. Then after a missed shot, Phee ends up with the offensive rebound, tries to drop a dime to her teammate, but Breanna Stewart wasn't having none of that. And after a scrum, they end up colliding into each other. Pretty tough collision, both ladies continued to play, but we gotta protect Phee's cheekbones at all costs. Now this might have lit a fire under Breanna Stewart because she started isoing and going to work. Stewie only hit 2 shots in the second quarter, but she started opening things up for everybody else out there. And this is what you call a veteran score. You fake the screen, crossover left, come back and float to the right. After that play, Phee just started begging for the ball like, nah, you ain't finna do that to me. I'ma put this one right in front of your eye shadow. But not to be outdone, Breanna Stewart came right back and said, let's have this dance. You talk about smooth. That was like a shot of your finest tequila. Now we got some second half action. Phee getting through that screen and forcing an air ball on Breanna Stewart. Then Phee bringing the ball up court, playing point guard as she's been doing a lot last year. Getting through the contact, but not through the block shot. Breanna Stewart says, get that little shit out of here, girl. Don't forget, you was a freshman, I was a senior. And I'm referring to, of course, them two playing at UConn together. They won the national title in Phee freshman year. Breanna Stewart was on the way to the W, being the #1 pick in the draft. But honestly, those were the only plays that I seen in the first game where Breanna Stewart and Phee actually guarded each other or scored on each other. In the second half, they pretty much switched the matchups and Stewie didn't guard Phee no more. And it seemed to work out pretty good because in the second half, Phee shot 2 of 7 from the field and only scored 4 points. On the other hand, Breanna Stewart shot 3 of 10 in the second half and only scored 6 points. So at the end of this game, they were pretty evenly matched. Phee with 18, Breanna Stewart with 17. And in the second game they faced off this past season, it was straight business. As you can see from the tip-off, they didn't even look at each other. They didn't shake hands or acknowledge each other, so I knew it was straight business. And right from the jump, Phee is guarding Stewie at half court. Even if it ain't personal shit, it looked like it. But that shit didn't mean nothing. You know Stewie going to work on whoever, whenever. Stewie got some help from her teammates in this first quarter, but she didn't really need it. She scored 17 of the team's 28 first quarter points. She went 5 of 7 and 3 of 4 from 3. And she also hit 4 free throws, so she was just hitting on all cylinders to open the game. And this was late in the season. New York Liberty were 27-7. Stewie was at the top of the MVP ranks and she was not looking to slow down. And then this next one, you're gonna see her working the screen with Jonquel Jones. And I don't think a lot of people realize how good Jonquel Jones is and how much he sacrificed to be on this team. I can probably make a 5-minute video of Jonquel Jones hitting somebody with a pass and them selling the assist. But we gonna save that conversation for another day. Stewie just coming down, hitting threes over people, banking them off the glass. Stop it. And Phee peeping what's going on. She been jumping out at her at the half-court circle the whole game. She started at the half-court circle and crashed and still got the rebound. Then after a Stewie missed from the corner, Phee with another rebound. Then Phee said, enough of this, and pulled something out the bag of tricks. But since we talking about tricks, this was a one-trick pony type game. At the end of the first half, the score was 65-35, Minnesota down 30 points, and Phee didn't even really play in the second half. She played a total of 4 minutes in the second half because the game was a blowout. And honestly, that's when Breanna Stewart started taking over the game. Phee played those 4 minutes all in the third quarter, so with about 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, we didn't see Phee no more. But Breanna Stewart, she played all 10 minutes of the third quarter, and she played no minutes in the fourth. I would really love to see Minnesota get a better team because, in my opinion, Phee is a little bit better than Breanna Stewart. Breanna Stewart just got the collegiate accolades. She's played on some of the best teams that were ever assembled, which takes away nothing from her talent. But just my personal eye test, when I watch those two players play, I see more out of Phee than I see from Stewie. Phee has a higher motor. She takes on the challenge on both ends of the floor. She picks up players at half court. But ever since she's gotten to the W, she's just not had a good team. Coming into this game, the Minnesota Lynx were 17-17, which is as mediocre as it can get. I mean, they do have Kayla McBride. They do have Diamond Miller, who they expecting to get a lot more from. I don't know what happened with Area Powers, but they lost her, so we'll see how they're going to refill that place. But I really like Napheesa Collier. I think she is really one of the high-end, top-of-the-line talent players in the W. But wait a second, look at this. Look how she walking away before the shot even go in. Now that Napheesa Collier don't got. And Stewie got a few things that Napheesa Collier can't do. But Phee also got some things that Stewie can't do. Napheesa Collier has been all defensive twice. Breanna Stewart has not been all defense. Which you can counter that and say Stewie has been an MVP and a champion, which Phee is yet to be. Even though I personally would consider those team awards, Breanna Stewart was the leader on all of those teams. But let me tell you something cool right here. Back in 2019 when Napheesa Collier was drafted, I ain't even gonna tell you the players that was drafted in front of her, but she was drafted number 6. She should have went number 1. The first pick was made by the Las Vegas Aces and they took Jackie Young. But had they took Napheesa Collier, can you imagine the front court of A'ja Wilson and Napheesa Collier? Nevertheless, the Aces are still a dynasty and they still gonna be winning no matter what, but just the thought of that happening give me chills. But I'd love to hear y'all feedback and y'all take on that. Who do you like better, Napheesa Collier or Breanna Stewart? But that is all for today's show. Thank you for listening and watching. I'm Els the Truth for PRM. Talk to you on the next one.